Well, hello, and welcome to Old People This Week. My name is Jeff, and that rascal there who cuts his hair with pruning shears, that's Mike.
Exactly.
Good morning, Mike.
A technique I learned after being stranded in the Canadian wilderness on a moose hunt that went terribly wrong.
Uh, but it looks good. You look dapper.
I try.
Old People This Week is a podcast for people who are mentally agile and who are 60 years of age and over. If you're under 60 and you stumbled in here, you can go back to Twitter, Tinder, Reddit, wherever the hell you spend your time normally. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. Or you can stay around and learn something, because Mike and I are truly the smartest men in America, and if not in America, in California. If not in California, in Riverside County. And if not in Riverside County, I know we're the smartest two old men in La Quinta, California. Isn't that right?
That's right. Registered.
This podcast will give you all the information you need to head into the weekend, so you'll sound smart when you're hanging out with your friends, playing golf, playing pickleball, at the gym, or as Mike and I are apt to do, spend our time whiling away a few hours at happy hour.
With a frosty drink in our hands, generally a gin martini, very well shaken, not stirred, no fruit, and Jeff has one of Napa's better Cabernets in his hand.
Well, it's a glass of wine. It may not be Napa's finest. Not when they have to dig 5 shelves below the bar to find one.
The happy hour price.
At a happy hour price of $1.25 a glass. It's not Napa's finest.
It burns with a blue-white flame.
Yeah. Please subscribe. If you subscribe, I've often said that Mike will come to your house and do many things. Bring a pie or give you a massage or, mow your lawn or wash your car. We made many promises, Mike, but he'll do one of them. You just have to decide what you want.
As long as you're willing to pay first-class airfare from Southern California to wherever you live, I will be there.
Send us an email. Send us your comments. We love getting comments to oldpeoplethisweek@gmail.com. We look at them every week. We study them. We answer them, and we enjoy getting back with our viewers.
Yeah.
And check out our Substack. It's 52tasks.substack.com. It's very popular, and we give you a task every week to do that will make you a better human being. 52tasks.substack.com. We'll get right into it. First thing is we had some comments. We did get some emails, some comments. First was from an older show that we did, the infamous now Judge Judy show that seems to keep resonating, now over 11,000 views. It was from a person named Anna Marie Lewis, and all in one clump together, Anna Marie Lewis. And she said, you said no politics, but you mentioned Stormy Daniels. I don't particularly remember. I didn't want to go and re-listen to the whole thing, but I think I seem to remember we did mention Stormy Daniels in the body of the show somewhere, and I apologize. We didn't want to make it political. It just probably seemed just funny at the moment to say Stormy Daniels.
Well, yeah, it wasn't political. It wasn't political. I mean, talk about Stormy Daniels. You're talking about recreational sex. There's nothing wrong with that.
Recreational sex. What's that? I don't remember that. Do you remember recreational sex?
That'll be $150, sir.
Yeah, that's what you paid back in the horse and wagon days. And she sent us another comment too, on to last week's podcast, in which she said, quote, "I like calamari. I just hit subscribe, so let's rock and roll." So I said, "That's great. Awesome."
Yeah, we'll see you at Roadrunner.
Well, that's what I was going to tell her. Email me at oldpeoplethisweek@gmail.com and let us know when you're going to be in the desert. Maybe you're coming out to Coachella or some other reason. And we'll have you over to Roadrunner, which is our favorite happy hour, and we'll have a glass of wine or whatever you're drinking. Happy hour prices, of course. And calamari. And we'll have a good time. So Anna Marie, I will be in touch, or you be in touch. All right, I'm going to start this show off with my usual rant about something, and today it's about over this past weekend, Valerie, my wife, was not here. She went up to up north to go to her high school reunion. So I do not do high school reunions, especially if they're not mine. And so I stayed here, and I wanted to watch a movie, so I got onto Prime, and I'm hunting around, and I was willing to pay a few bucks. And the movie I wanted to see is called Bike Riders, which was supposed to be, or set up, which was sort of promo to be a down and dirty show about movie about motorcycle gangs in Chicago in the early 60s.
And you give me shit for watching a Kevin Costner Western. And you you dial up something like this.
Yeah, this was a mistake. Well, fortunately, I didn't have to pay for it on Prime because I found it for free on Peacock. Well, I guess not free because I paid for Peacock,
Yeah.
but it was for free on Peacock because I think it's a Universal movie, which is owned by Comcast, and Comcast also owns NBC, which runs Peacock. So I think they put it over there for free, but it was not good. First, they called it Bike Riders, which is kind of weird. You kind of get this image of bikes. It's like tricycle riders, not not Harley Hog and a bunch of guys, riding big, burly, mean-looking motorcycles. This was the Bike Riders.
Yeah, at the time of the Olympics, it's a bad optic.
But it doesn't even, the title doesn't connotate the masculine part of the riding big Harley Hogs. Bike Riders. We're a bike rider. And it starred the one and the only Austin Butler. Now, Austin Butler got famous in the past few years from playing Elvis in that Baz Luhrmann film of the same name.
And that's the single dimension he'll ever have as an actor.
Yeah, that's the truth. And that movie also, by the way, starred Tom Hanks playing a fat Colonel Tom Parker, which he was horrible in too. Yeah. But Austin Butler played a great Elvis because he was sultry looking, the same drawl. He had it down pat. He sounded like Elvis. He looked like Elvis, even better looking than Elvis, and he nailed it. But he plays the same part in everything I've seen him since.
Yeah, even when they interview him on like Good Morning America, he's still like, "Good morning, how you doing?"
Yeah. And wears his hair the same way, the same color, the little bit of a lock hanging over his forehead, like Elvis would. And I saw him in Masters of the Air, which was, I think it was HBO, it was a 6 or 7 part series based on like Band of the Brothers. This was Masters of the Air, and he was the star of that. Same thing, same draw. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Brad Pitt and DiCaprio, he played Tex Watson, who was one of the Manson killers. And he played it the same exact way, same look, same draw, same everything. Yeah. So anyways, it was just horribly disappointing and not worth my money. I actually didn't, I wouldn't have finished it, except that I felt obliged to because I'm paying for Peacock. So I sat and watched the whole thing, but it was kind of crummy.
The thing we're watching now, we just started, The Gentleman, which is really great, set in England. About a guy whose father passes away. He comes home from being in the British Army or something and discovers that his father has co-opted part of the estate to a marijuana grower. And it's an interesting story.
That's not what I expected you to say. So this is not a period piece like everything else on PBS.
No.
They don't do anything set in the 20th century or 21st century.
It's set today. It's very good, very violent.
All right, good.
Yeah,
PBS.
Yeah, it's a good watch. It's a good watch.
All right, I'll have to check that out, even though I don't watch much PBS. It's too highbrow for me. All right. Next thing I want to talk about was the Olympics. Goodbye to the Olympics. From Paris, it ended the other night. I love the Olympics. This Olympics, I watched it every day, and people were complaining about the opening ceremonies. It was weird and odd, but it was cool too. It was just different, and the French know how to get it done sometimes. And then came, I watched the events were awesome. There was the Americans women's soccer team beat Brazil won zip for the gold. Our American men, LeBron and company, and Steph Curry just, you know,
Rained on them.
rained on them. That was incredible and won the gold. And our women basketball team won gold as well over France, by the way.
Yeah.
So it was a great Olympics for America. Lots of medals. And it left, and plus there was some famous sort of gaffes, some things that were just plain and simple funny.
Oh, yeah.
And I was trying to think of the stuff that I laughed at the most, or the memes that came out of that Olympics. And one was, I don't know if you saw this guy. They call him the Assassin's Creed. There was he came down to Seine in a little rowboat, dressed up in a cloak. He was wearing all black, and his face was covered. And he's carrying the Olympic flame.
Yeah,
and it's just weird.
It was the whole thing about the introductory characters, and even on the way out, the characters with the masks.
Yeah.
was creepy.
Yeah, but the
really
French,
creepy.
those French are creepy, but they're creepy funny.
Yeah.
And then there was the lame-o Australian breakdancer who went by the name of Raygun, and she was so lame. She did 3 routines, and her score for all 3 was zeros, zeros. And it looked so corny. It looked like it could have been done on Saturday Night Live. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And she, defended it, and her country's IOC, or basically the Olympic Committee from Australia, has defended her, saying, "Hey, that's what we do. Out there, we try."
That's the best we could offer.
The fact that there was not a black American person from Queens or something in that finals is, by the way, it's pretty
Yeah.
sucky.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're going to get breakdancing. Get some Australian breakdancer. That's stupid.
I love the Italian, the Turkish hitman though.
Yeah,
I loved him. He was one of my
classic.
favorites.
He was classic. He was, that was nuts. We talked about him last week and showed a picture of him. He just,
Sauntered
still-
out. It's like he just put his cigarette out off camera. Sauntered out, picked up a pistol, and won a medal.
yeah, just it was extraordinary. But my favorite, the all-time loser move, but funniest thing I saw was there's a high jumper from
That was
New
great.
Zealand, and he, gets all serious. He's got for his third and final, leap, and the bar's up a 8 foot or whatever it was up to, and he, he's studying. He's standing at the back, getting ready and concentrating and moving his arms back and forth, getting ready to leap, and he takes off running, and step, and just as he gets to the bar, he dives underneath it. And if that doesn't sound funny from my description, then go on YouTube and watch it, because
It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. He goes right under there, got shamed, got zeros. You're out, by the way.
His wife got up and left the stands.
She divorced him probably too. I go, embarrassing.
But,
Oh,
you
that
know,
brings
speak-
it. I'm sorry?
Speaking of Olympics, the one thing I just couldn't get over watching all the track and field events was the women track and field stars were stunningly beautiful. We're so used to watching women's basketball. It's about the only sport in America that gets televised for women's sports. And they're a different kind of athlete, but these track and field stars, my God, some of them could be professional models. They were just incredible.
We know how to turn out female athletes in America. Smart, beautiful, and fast.
Yeah,
And they did. They were
my
great.
God.
What a team.
yeah.
It was thrilling to watch the women's relay race. They just 4x400. Goodbye.
It's
See you
incredible.
later.
Just smoked them.
Scintillating. They smoked them. I don't even know who was in second place. They were so far behind, they may still be out there running. It was that bad. All right, we've come to the end of the Olympics, though, and the goodbye, the closing ceremonies. The French part of it was really bizarre, but it was cool with all those rings and raising them up and some rock music and some opera, all kinds of stuff was going on. And then out of the sky drops the one, the only Tom Cruise, and he hits the ground running, grabs the flag. I think he grabbed it right out of, Mayor Bass's hand, jumps on a motorcycle and drives off. And then through the magic of television, 15 seconds later, he's on the Hollywood sign climbing around. And then it ends with a concert down in Long Beach with Red Hot Chili Peppers and Snoop. Now, I know you took umbrage, and I'm going to give you your chance to rip on this thing. But also remember, you were of an age where you wanted to see Bing Crosby, and Bing Crosby ain't coming back from the dead to perform. He's certainly not going to be there for the next Olympics. So what is it exactly that pissed you off so much that you burned up my phone line telling me about it?
I scorched your phone line.
Scorched my text line.
Probably melted your text line too. It just, I'm still trying to control myself so I don't use totally inappropriate language on the podcast. But how we possibly go from Paris, arguably the most stunningly beautiful city in the world, to a has-been, haggard-looking Tom Cruise dropping down on a cable that would probably support the Golden Gate Bridge like it was some daring venture, speeding off in some pre-programmed canned film stupid promotion to get to LA. And we wind up on the beach in LA with people of dubious talent, Snoop Dogg, who still has no discernible talent of any kind, Billie Eilish singing one of her weepy, shrieky,
she was
born
great.
in a basement songs, looking like a homeless victim. And,
You just wanted Rosemary Clooney to come out and sing something.
and Snoop Dogg's backup dancer, some fat broad twerking her big butt.
Oh, my God.
I mean, my God. I mean, the whole world looking on. The people around the world must have been looking at each other going, WTF. This was horrible. This was horrible.
Now you watch. I don't agree. I think it was just fine. It was just shows what LA is going to be. It's not going to be Paris. It's not all classed up with Eiffel Tower and all that. It's going to be down and dirty. Compton, Tom Cruise, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. By the way, I got my Dre story if you want to hear it. Dre is an old, I would say, acquaintance. But at any rate, it's going to be a different. I think that LA creators and people, the kind of smart people we have in LA, they'll do something to make the opening ceremonies in 4 years incredible.
Yeah, I hope so. I just can't figure that was the image they wanted to cast for the introduction of the Olympics in the U.S. It was horrible.
Don't expect to see your Olympic tickets in the mail from the organizing committee. They're already crossing you off. They won't let you in near the city
It's all right.
limits.
I'm going to be in New Zealand fly fishing just to get away from that nonsense.
Go down to New Zealand with that dude, that high jumper. You can hang with him. Two losers down there. All right. So it wasn't inspirational for you, but there are things that are inspirational, which is the segue into this next segment on inspirational signs, which I think are just absolutely just
horrible.
Make me crazy. The people who have them in their houses and this. But the article you sent me was about how chefs, famous chefs, hang inspirational quotes in their restaurants, or more specifically in their kitchens, to inspire their staff. And one of them was this chef Nikki Nakayama, who has a restaurant in L.A., and in 2 spots in the kitchen, she has this hanging: everything, every day, better in every way. Everything is done with focus, heart, gratitude, love, care, purpose, intention, faith.
Yeah, and by the time you read that sign, you're late getting the order out to the table, and your guests wonder why the shitty service.
That's too much for your average person who works in a restaurant. Some actor who's only doing it to make some dough and some whatever. They don't care about that. Then Thomas Keller, the super famous chef. I think he's the guy from French Laundry, right?
Yeah, he's a good friend of ours.
Yeah, that's right. You know him. So Keller, in his restaurants, and every restaurant he owns, he hangs a sign that says a sense of urgency. which, all right, that's shorter at least. You get it. Move with some alacrity, move with some pace, work hard. And that was the inspiration for the sign that hangs below the clock in the kitchen, in the fictional kitchen of the show The Bear.
The Bear, yeah.
Underneath the clock, there's a sign that says every second counts, which they use in that show to put more pressure on that guy who's already on the edge of freaking out anyways, every
Exploding,
step.
yeah.
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 It just makes him even crazier.
Yeah.
There's a bar or a restaurant in Washington, D.C. called Oyster, and the chef there, his name is Rob Aruba, R-U-B-B-A, Rubba Aruba, displays a plaque, always be knolling. You know what knolling is?
I have no idea.
Well, it refers to basically keeping things in a parallel, or it's a way of placing objects so that they're neat and straight and thought out. And that's what knolling is. And he wants you to always be knolling when you're working. Rob Rubba. And then Oyster. Well, by the way, why do you name your restaurant Oyster? Why not just Oyster?
Wait, what, you're afraid that people won't get it?
Yeah, Oyster. My son's in D.C., and if I go visit him, I'm going to go down to Oyster.
Check it out, yeah.
Look for that sign. And then at a San Diego restaurant called Addison. So I get onto this Addison website, and they have a 10-course tasting menu that costs $375 a person.
Yeah.
So $375 for me, $375 for the wife. That comes out to $750. Plus,
then you have to buy the wine.
oh, I didn't think of that. And then another $150 for the wine. That's up to $900. And then you do 20%. That'd be another $180. So you're at $1,080 right now for dinner.
Yeah.
And they have a sign there from the Navy SEALs that says "all in, all the time," when it should read,
Sucker.
"Sucker, you'll enjoy your 10 courses for $1,000, and if you don't tip, we're gonna fucking thrash you."
Yeah.
So these are all super fancy restaurants that have the sort of the balls to hang these goofy signs in them. I worked at restaurants when I was in my 20s in Hollywood, by the way, on Hollywood Boulevard at a dive called the Love's Wood Pit Barbecue that the front door was on Hollywood Boulevard, and my job, besides being a waiter, was to basically guard the door for the indigents, homeless, just fucked up people who were trying to get in there. Half of my job was pushing them back out. There was no sign. Here's the signs that were in Love's Wood Pit Barbecue. Number one sign: wash your hands after you go to the bathroom.
Good, preferably.
And the other one was a sign, it was like a picture sign about how to help people who were choking. So if so you go out, some person is sitting at the counter choking on their $7 rib dinner, and I would be the guy who would have to get behind him and shake the big bone out of their throat. Stupid. I keep looking over here because the dog is creeping around and he keeps coming up to me like he wants something.
He misses the leaf blower.
Yeah, that's true.
Where the guy with a leaf blower is.
I think he wants to go out and do some nasty things on the sidewalk out there. Well, anyways, these signs are everywhere. People have them in their homes, which was what really bugs me.
Yeah, Hobby Lobby will go out of business if they couldn't sell those signs.
They do have a ton of them. My sister, who lives in Ohio, has a sign by her front door that says "Focus on Happy." And mind you, this is my sister. Like, if you walked in the house with a pair of your shoes were dirty, she would beat you over the head and take your shoes off for you. There was nothing happy at her door.
Well, as pleasant as you are growing up with you, I can imagine why she would put that sign out.
She's the reason I'm not pleasant. She is 10 years older than me. And so when I was 3, she was 13. She was my mom, because my mom was gone most of the time. She worked and so wasn't home till late. So I had a 13-year-old sister who was my boss and ran me ragged. And in her house, also in her kitchen, she has a sign that says, "The dishes are looking at me dirty again." It's supposed to be a joke, and the dirty's in sort of italics. It's stupid. So anyway, and Mike, if you ever went into, you want to see signs, inspirational, go to a girl's dorm room If you've ever, did your college have girls in it, A, and B, did you have dorms?
Of course we did.
Yeah,
Of
bull
course we
crap.
did.
You
And
were women
I
couldn't even
was,
vote in those days, so how they at being at college?
I was known once in a while to appear in a women's dorm room.
Oh, God. Anyways, and my daughter in her dorm room had a sign that said, do something today that your future self will thank you for. I probably paid $25 for that sign at Bed Bath and Beyond or something, but I always told her, I said, for me, that sign is don't do anything today that will piss me off,
Yeah.
like get
Yeah.
drunk or have any guys come up to the room. That's what I wanted to paint up there.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. I'm watching this dog over here. I think he's about to make a break. Our next story is about in Russia, these crazy Russians. Now, Putin, the president, I'm using president loosely because he doesn't really have anyone run against him and he never loses.
Yeah, assassin in chief.
Yeah, he's so nutty that if you run against him or if there's any dissension, he throws you in jail and then he poisons you.
It kills you. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not, if you have a leader like that, it's, the people who follow him are going to be just as crazy. And this is a story about one of them. There's this Russian woman she's a chess player, and she's under investigation for allegedly attempting to poison another player before a match. So they had the security footage of this Russian woman. Her name is Amina Abakarba. And they see her creeping into the room where the chessboards are, where she's going to be playing later, and onto the other side, her opponent's side, she starts smearing the chess pieces with some kind of liquid or something.
Mercury. I think they said it was mercury.
Yeah, mercury. Right? So she's
Yeah.
putting poison on the chessboard, used by her rival, and I'm going to try this name. This name is Uma Igano Osmanova. And Osmanova said that she sat down to have the match, and of course during the match she starts getting sick, nausea, dizziness, and so they went back and checked the video, and there was Amina rubbing poison all over the place.
And Russians, they are such assholes. Sorry.
I wonder if they gave her the match after all. You sent me a story that, well, in comparison, after I read that story about this crazy Russian woman, I said, I have to find a nice story about a woman, that they're not all crazy and rubbing poison on things.
Yeah.
You sent me a story how a mom and her daughter have bonded together over the music of Taylor Swift. The headline was that Swift's music was somehow the soundtrack of their life, which I said, Mike can handle this story. And Mike, you have 30 seconds. Don't make me barf. I honestly don't give a shit about this story. So what was it? How did they bond over Taylor Swift's music?
Yeah. Your warmth just
I'm about ready to shut your mic off, so hurry up.
just exudes compassion and warmth. Now, we get so guy-oriented on this show that we sometimes forget half or maybe more than half of our audience and viewers are females. And I just thought it was a great story about this mother and daughter who found a bond, and the daughter's not young. I mean, she's an older gal, and I think the daughter actually was getting ready to go to college or something. And the mother was just recounting how the songs and the experience of being with her daughter just kind of brought life back into focus, and it was just a really heartwarming story. I thought it was a nice story.
All right, let's move on. The one of the heartwarming stories that I found, and you always accuse me of being so cold-hearted, but I melted like a popsicle out in the La Quinta sun, was during the Olympics. There was a long jumper by the name of Tara Davis Woodhall.
Fabulous.
Tara Davis, in the last Olympics, Tara Davis Woodhall, because she's married to a guy named Hunter Woodhall. And after she won the long jump and she looked up and she saw that she was gold, she sprinted and, by the way, did a long jump up and basically wrapped herself around her husband, this guy, Hunter Woodhall, and started kissing him. And it was pretty amazing.
That was one of the highlights of the Olympic coverage camera work.
Yeah,
That
they
was
did,
just-
right.
That vignette was fabulous.
I made up for the cameraman who got in the way of the runners. Yeah. And this dude, Hunter Woodhall, is a para-Olympian. He was born, oh, hang on, I gotta get my dog situation here. Oh,
Okay.
come here, dope, what are you doing? Sit down, sit. Hunter Woodhall is a para-Olympian. He was born and he had some kind of crazy disease and they cut off both of his legs, double amputee. He becomes an athlete. He's the first double amputee to earn an NCAA Division I scholarship to the University of Arkansas. In his first year at Arkansas, he competed in the SEC division along non-disabled runners. So he ran in the SEC competition against regular runners.
Yeah, the guys with legs.
Yeah. He meets Tara at a track meet
Yeah.
in 2017, and they've been together ever since.
Yeah, I just, that vignette was just so heartwarming. It was great. I'm
Yeah, it
surprised it touched you as
Touched me.
cold and emotionless as you are.
I started crying. I was like, my eyes almost cracked open from the idea of tears coming out of those tear ducts. They've been sealed up for so long. They forced their way out of there. This also made me cry, this next story. I know this is going to make you cry. And this is one of our PSAs, just like
here
we
we
did
go.
last week. Costco membership crackdown. Uh-oh. Costco is
Yeah.
now requiring that members show their membership card and matching photo IDs upon entering all of its stores in a bid to weed out non-members and card sharers. Over the coming months, memberships scanning devices will be used at the entrance door of your local warehouse.
Yeah, you can't send your gardener to get your roast chicken anymore. You have to go yourself.
I've only been to Costco twice in my life, and they was both the most extraordinary visits ever. I loved it, and I did get one of their $5.99 chicken.
Chickens.
Yeah, it was great. But I said, what's all the fuss? Who really cares ultimately? And then I read why. It turns out that 3/4 of Costco's profits come from the membership fees. So this will, in essence, force people who have been getting it on the sly or getting it
Yeah.
using somebody else's membership to actually get their own membership, and that'll go to the bottom line of Costco.
Follow the money.
Follow the money. Follow the Costco money.
Yeah.
You can go in there, get yourself a chicken. Boy, that was good chicken.
Chicken's great.
bunch
Everything's
of-
great, except when you go, you leave with a $300 tool set you never realized you needed.
Yeah. Oh, no, but Valerie got a box of Cheerios that's roughly the size of like a crate that you would put a car in. We have Cheerios that'll last us till the next millennial. And she had no reason. She goes, "Oh, I like Cheerios." I'm like, I know, but I don't care. There's no reason to get a Cheerios that's big, that is that large.
A bushel of Cheerios.
Yeah, tons of Cheerios. All right, this other story too. Both of us, you and I, like this crazy thing about these astronauts.
Is that unbelievable?
Yeah. So for weeks, NASA has been downplaying the problems experienced by this ship called the Starliner, which is made by Boeing, a spacecraft that took 2 astronauts to the International Space Station in June, and it's supposed to take them back. Well, guess what?
Nope.
Nope. It's broken. Who knows what's wrong? It's probably some 50-cent piece of something is wrong with it. It ain't moving from out there.
Well, they're
And
lucky
then-
they're lucky the door didn't blow off it. while they were there.
Yeah, you don't want that happening in space. I guess you don't want it happening anywhere, but
Ever.
especially out there. And they've been telling everybody, basically us Americans and those 2 astronauts, what's their names? Sonny, S-U-N-I, Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore. They've been telling them, oh, you know what? We're going to get you out in a few days, and no problem.
Yeah, we're working on it.
We're working on it. No issue, no issue. Now they're admitting, sort of shruggingly, that the issues may be more serious than they thought, and they may not even be able to return in the Starliner. Is that what it's called, Starliner? Yeah. They may not be able to turn in the Starliner, and it may not be able to get anything up there. They may have to go to Elon Musk and get one of his SpaceX
SpaceX.
to go up there, but they may not come back till February
Next year.
next year, 25. So how do you tell them that? How do you get Houston, Butch, can we
Is
talk to
Sonny
you?
there? Yeah, is
Butch?
Sonny there?
Yeah, bring Sonny over. We have something to talk to you about. Well, what's that, Houston? Well, we said you'd be back by Friday. Well, guess what? You're not. I hope they have enough food up there.
We met a year from Friday. Well, yeah, that's the other thing. What kind of accommodations were they expecting to have only for a few days? And now they're going to be there for a year? I mean,
Sonny's going, Butch, I hope you have enough clean underwear. What do you do?
yeah.
But how do you change how do you do? They have washer dryers on those things?
I have no idea. But
Where do
food or hygienic supplies, I mean, God, I
Uh,
don't know.
Sonny.
But even think about their families back on terra firma. It's like, kids, I won't be home for another year.
Yeah, another year, about another 5, 6 months. So, and I don't know. But that conversation couldn't have gone well. They didn't show it. They're not going to let us in on that. When Sonny starts crying and Butch starts tearing hair out. And by the way, these two are not going to commingle. I don't know if you saw a picture of them. I'll put a picture of them here, but they're not going to be
It's a
commingling.
bad deal all the way around. I wonder who else is in the space station. I think there's some Russians.
The
Hope they
cheating.
don't have any mercury with
Yeah,
them.
don't cheat and don't play chess with those Russians if they're up there. Whatever you do.
God.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, they're going to get back evidently, but they're not going to get back when they thought. And it sounds like that's a bit inconvenient.
God, I would think so.
Yeah. All right. Now on to our favorite stories of something that's usually happening in Florida, because Florida is the nuttiest place in America. All right. So there was a Hurricane Debbie down there recently, and not only did Hurricane Debbie wash up $1 million worth of cocaine into Florida. I don't know if you saw that story.
Yeah, did you see those packages? Jeez. I mean,
They found they found them on the beach after the storm was over. They found all kind of bags of cocaine just stacked up on a beach somewhere.
yeah, somebody in South America just got beheaded.
Anyway, so besides the cocaine that washed up, it sent non-native creatures that move like, in quotes, like an infantryman scooting under barbed wire. So you know that they're scooting away. If they're shooting live ammo over barbed wire, you're an infantryman. You're trying to scoot away. But anyways, non-native creatures that were scooting up your driveway, right up into the doorsteps and trying to get into the people's homes. They're called walking catfish. And according to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission, they are elongated, gray, and scaleless with a large mouth, pectoral spines, and 4 pairs of barbels, barbels. I don't know what barbels are unless these guys travel with free weights.
Little weight sets.
But whatever it
They're
is.
oily, and they're oily and slimy too.
Yeah.
They're nasty.
Yeah, slimy, terrible looking things. They're oily and slimy, which means that they're hard to capture. So if you reach down to grab one, it's like, trying to grab but they used to do it with a greased pig back in your day. I know for fun, you probably in the backyard, your dad put oil all over a pig, say, hey, guys, go catch the pig. Well, this is like.
Go get your date for the evening.
Get your date. Get your dinner. This was, that's why they can't catch these walking catfish. So they said, well, if you're going to get one, you better kill it. So because also it's illegal to transport them and keep them. So you can't keep them in your house as pets. You can't.
Well, why would you?
Why would you?
Spiny pectoral fin and 4 sets of barbells.
You can't transport them anywhere, so you're not throwing them in your car and bringing them to Cleveland to your aunt's house or something. So they said if you do get them and you kill them, you better eat them quick too. So put them on ice because they don't last. I wonder if Thomas Keller ever put that on his menu up at French Laundry.
Fillet of walking catfish.
As you walking catfish, walk right to your plate. And there was another headline you sent me, and the headline says it all. I don't even need to talk about it.
This is great.
Coyote sneaks into San Simi Valley home through the dog door is killed by the owner with a kitchen knife. So I decided there was probably more besides reading that stupid headline. So the coyote got in there because it was trying to get to the owner's Chihuahua dog, little Chihuahua dog. And you know how these coyotes are. They see a small dog, like out where we live, and we're even when I was in Los Angeles, there's coyotes come out of the hills, and they go after other small dogs, or cats are doomed.
Yeah, yeah.
But at any rate, this one goes into somebody's house looking for a Chihuahua to eat. The owner sees it, gets all nuts, grabs a knife from his counter and starts stabbing it. And evidently this coyote wasn't having it and starts fighting back. And so this owner finally just kept stabbing until the thing died. And he saved his Chihuahua.
But the coyote did some damage too. The guy had to go to the hospital, right? He was. Yeah, he was a mess.
They are, I'll never forget, and this is a true story. I was walking at one of our labs, and we were walking around Westwood, California, UCLA, right below the hills there. And the coyotes would literally come out of those hills, trapped by encroaching urban life. And I'm walking the dog, and this is a big lab, and there was 3 coyotes, and they sort of were triangulating us. It was the scariest thing. There would be one over there, and we'd move, they'd move. Finally, I turned around, I grabbed this dog, and just started running back to the house. Discretion is the better part of valor, and I wasn't going to sit out there and try to fight no coyotes.
Oh. No, and they're nasty. I mean, I can't imagine this guy. First of all, I can't imagine how he cornered it in his house. Jeez. That's a scary story.
Scary story.
Yeah.
All right, our last story, and all-timer classic dumbass guy move. Texas man, so it's not a Florida guy, Texas man, accused of placing pressure-activated fireworks under toilet seats. So here's what it was in a nutshell. This guy, why? No one, they don't explain why. But he rigs.
How could you?
He took the time and the trouble to figure out how to rig up fireworks under toilet seats that would be pressure activated. So meaning somebody go into a commercial building like a McDonald's or whatever, go into the bathroom, sit down on the toilet, and when they sat down, I guess the weight of their body weight would somehow make the fireworks go off, and they would shoot you out of the cubicle back, shoot you up through the drywall into the ceiling or something.
Or just blow your leg off.
Blow your, yeah. And then, so he's accused of putting fireworks under toilet seats in commercial businesses, and he was arrested. They found him, probably security cameras. These guys are always getting arrested by security cameras. They're too stupid to believe that everything doesn't have a security camera.
Yeah, look
they're
up,
thinking,
Bob.
I can get away with.
Bob, there's a camera there.
Yeah. Well, you know what, though? You know what, now that I think about it, they're not allowed to put security cameras in restrooms.
In restrooms, yeah.
No, they must have seen him going in and coming out of these restrooms that he did.
Yeah.
I'm still looking over at this dog because get over here, Truman. I'm going to show a picture of Truman here looking.
Show a picture of Truman.
He's looking like as dopey.
He wants
as
to go ride in your car again.
He's never getting in that car again. He wants to make an escape. My wife thinks it's because he's sensing another earthquake. That he's nervous and acting this way this morning because he's sensing there's another earthquake coming.
Maybe.
So I hope not. All right. At any rate, that is our podcast. That is Mike. I'm Jeff. We are Old People This Week. Please subscribe. If you subscribe, like Anna Marie Lewis did, you can come out. And if you can find your way to La Quinta, we'll bring you to the Roadrunner Bar where you can have a cheap drink and a happy hour priced order of calamari or shrimp, both of which we like.
We love.
Send us an email to oldpeoplethisweek@gmail.com. Send us anything. We answer any questions because we know everything about everything. And check us out on Spotify. If you don't want to look at us, which why wouldn't you? But if you don't want, you can go to Spotify or Apple and check out our Substack at 52tasks.substack.com. That's all for today, and we'll see you next week. Mike, adios,
Take
amigo.
care. All right, take care. Goodbye, everyone.